So in this video, we're tasked with finding the average rate of change of this function over this interval from 2 to 2 plus h. So some things to remember. The average rate of change is the same thing basically as the slope. So let's go back to basics and use the slope formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in order to use this, we're basically going to need two ordered pairs, 2 points. So the interval that we've been given, the 2 to 2 plus h, it's important to remember these are both x values because it's an interval. Some people confuse this with being an x value and a y value, but no, these are actually both x values. So to make these x values into ordered pairs, we're basically going to fill each one of these x values in for the x in our original function. So the first one is going to be hopefully not too bad. We're going to fill in the 2 where the x is in that function. So it's 1 over 2 replaces the x plus 7, which is going to simplify to 1 over 9, making the ordered pair 2 as an x value, 1/9 as a y value. Next, we're going to fill in the 2 plus h. So this is going to look a little bit different, but 2 plus h goes in where the x is. So 2 plus h goes in where the x is, and we still have that plus 7 in the denominator of our function. We can reduce this down a little bit by combining the 2 and the 7 to make a 9 plus h, or that could be h plus 9. All right, so at this point, we have a second ordered pair, and I know it looks a little bit strange, but 2 plus h is going to be our x value, and 1 over 9 plus h is going to be our y value. So when we're thinking about filling into our formula, I'm going to go ahead and label this as x1, y1, and x2, y2. So to fill in, we're going to start with y2, 1 over 9 plus h, minus y1, 1 over 9, all over x2, 2 plus h, minus x1, 2. So we filled in, but we still need to do some simplifying down to get to our final answer. Some nice things we can simplify down are, in the denominator, we have both a positive 2 and we're subtracting 2. So as we combine like terms, those are going to combine together and make 0. So we still have an h in the big denominator, but that's it. All right, the rest of it really is some algebra. So as we zoom in here, let's think about that numerator. The numerator, we have two fractions being subtracted. In order to combine these together, what we'd like to do is get a common denominator. We're going to get that by multiplying this first fraction by 9, the denominator from the second fraction, and multiplying the second fraction by 9 plus h over 9 plus h. And when we multiply by the same thing in numerator and denominator, that's equivalent to multiplying by 1. So multiplying by 1 doesn't really change anything, it just makes it look different. All right, next, let's go ahead and keep simplifying. As we multiply our numerators together and multiply our denominators together, we're going to get 9 over 9 times 9 plus h. I'm not going to bother to distribute. Minus, as we multiply 1 times 9 plus h in the numerator, we get 9 plus h over 9 times 9 plus h. Now the other thing to bring along is, remember we had this h in the denominator? It needs to come along as well. So we still have that h hanging out in the denominator. All right, from here, let's think about simplifying by combining these fractions together. So we have the common denominator of 9 times 9 plus h, and then we want to subtract those numerators. So it's going to be the 9 from the first numerator, but we have to be a little bit careful. This subtraction needs to be applied to both of those terms in the second numerator. So it's going to be applied to the 9 and to the positive h. So it's going to be minus 9 minus h. That's a common place where we make some mistakes and get to the wrong answer. All right, the other thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is equivalent to dividing the entire thing by h would be multiplying by 1 over h. Very similar to dividing something by 2 is equivalent to multiplying by 1/2. So in our case, we're going to end up multiplying the entire numerator by 1 over h and the entire denominator by 1 over h as well. But as we do that, h times 1 over h becomes 1 for our denominator, and we're still going to be left with a 1 over h multiplied by that entire numerator, those fractions that we've combined together. All right, the remaining simplifying shouldn't be too bad. We have positive 9 minus 9 is going to give us negative h in our numerator. And then you can multiply by the 1 if you want, but I'm just going to leave that multiplying by 1 off. And our denominator now consists of a 9 plus h, and the h that we kind of brought up there. All right, the one sort of in yellow up above. All right, at this point, we have a little bit more simplifying down we can do. We have an h in the numerator multiplied by the entire denominator, or entire numerator, and an h in the denominator multiplied by the entire denominator. So h over h makes 1. And this gets us to negative 1. Got to keep that as a placeholder in our numerator, over 9 times 9 plus h. And when we get to this point, there's no more simplifying down that can be happening. So that is our average rate of change. I would leave it just like that. Hope this helps out. Good luck as you're working through these.